Welcome back to another episode of Drop It Like It's Scott, where I answer questions that have been posed to me from my community over at Monetized Life on School. So hopefully you guys have joined us over there. If you haven't, check out the link in the show notes and come on over and be a part of this incredible community. And this episode's question is actually pretty interesting. It's a topic that I love, and there's about 5 sub questions to the overall question. And the overall question is, why do you believe so much in a powerful morning routine? And I'm going to work through some of these sub questions, but I think maybe it would be beneficial to kind of go over where my belief in a morning routine kind of originated. And some of you may have heard this story a little bit in bits and pieces, but I'm going to tell the story in the context of this whole discussion around morning routines. And back, I can't even remember how many years it is now because it feels like it was not even my life. It feels like it was a movie that I watched once upon a time. But once upon a time, I was partying pretty heavy. And even though I was never this guy up until that day, I decided one night after drinking far too much to the point where I don't even remember doing this, I jumped behind the wheel of my truck and drove it clear across the city that I live in. Thankfully, I didn't hurt anyone. The reason why I got caught was because I drove over a concrete meridian, blew out both passenger side tires, drove on the rim for 3 blocks before the truck wouldn't move anymore. And I gotta say, even though at the time it was an extremely painful experience for myself and everyone around me, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to me too, because it forced me to ask myself, what the hell am I doing? And the changes that came afterwards were not immediate, but they did start to kind of shift my life from that point forward. And one of the things that had to happen because of all the fines, the damages to my truck, the legal fees that I incurred because of that choice, took me to the point where I had to find a different job. At this point in my life, I had very little direction. I was working in a construction company, making, decent money, but nothing that was going to allow me to create any breathing room. So I had to go work out of town. And near where I live, the energy sector is a big player. And I had always known a lot of people that worked in the energy sector. So I got into contact with few people, went and ended up getting a job out of town to make more money to pay off all this debt that I had incurred. And I recognized pretty quickly that this was a space that I could probably do pretty well in. And I wanted to make sure that I made a good impression and that I could position myself as such an important employee on my crew, for the company, on the project, that I'd be able to control my own destiny a little bit more than you would if you were just sort of floating through. So one of the things I recognized is, okay, if I want to stay in shape so that the work I'm doing becomes easier. So if I get up 90 minutes earlier every day and go to the gym before work, I'm going to improve my fitness ability, which, I mean, I was still in my 20s at the time, so that helps with, the whole attraction with your partner. And at this time, I was still in a relationship, but, that whole side of it as well. And then also, probably the more important thing that I recognized is if you go to the gym before work, you're awake, you're alert, you're functioning at a way higher level than you would if you just rolled out of bed and jumped in the truck to go to work. And that was noticed. And the energy and the simple stacked wins at the beginning of your day help you with that proper mindset that, like I already crushed the gym. I may have done two or three other things that felt like wins. Now when I go to work, it's like you're already winning. It's almost like a sports team when they're on like a 5-game winning streak. They seem to get more confident. They seem to go into the next game thinking like they're already going to win. Same idea. You stack a few simple wins in your morning, and all of a sudden, when you're expected to perform, it's easier to win because you're just expecting it. So that's kind of where this all came from. Why do I think they make a difference? I I think I've kind of explained it through the description already, but I just think that it sets up your day for you to win. It gives you the headspace, it gives you the physical space, the emotional space to expect more from yourself and from your day. So I just think the morning routine is just such a powerful weapon that people typically overlook. Um, the next sub question that I had was, have they changed over time? Absolutely. Your morning routine should align with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. The more deliberate you can be about your morning routine, the better results you're going to get. If you just start kind of floating through it and reading what The Rock does when he wakes up at 4 a.m., or Oprah, what she does at 4 a.m., or the list goes on, it's not necessarily going to give you the results you're looking for. I think it's very important for you to recognize what you want, what your goals are, and then align your morning routine to that. So, for example, and I'm probably speaking more to people that have day jobs, even though it applies just as much to an entrepreneur or even someone, caring for the kids at home. I think what you want to do is really take a look at the goal you're trying to accomplish, figure out what activities you should take that morning to align with that goal, to support that goal, to bring you closer to achieving that goal. So if you're trying to lose 30 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever amount of weight, then that morning routine should probably have movement involved in it. Maybe, hydration. I'd say everyone should hydrate as soon as they wake up. I'll get into that in a second, but it should be more based around that goal of losing weight. Whereas if you're looking to complete schooling online or by outreach, maybe that first hour of your day is spent going through the course materials, writing a quiz, submitting assignments. Okay? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. How do you determine when to change them? When your goals change. And this is probably a separate conversation that we should have on one of these episodes, is how do you determine what your goals are? How do you go through that goal setting process? And I think the whole goal discussion gets almost cliche at times, so hopefully I'm not losing you guys talking about goals, but I think it is probably a very valuable conversation and separate from this one. But when would you change your morning routine? When your goals change. When the path that you want to walk, when you've laid out that roadmap of where you are today and where you want to go to, once you identify what that route looks like and how your morning routine can support that journey along that route. What struggles did you face when starting, and how did you overcome them? First off, I apologize. I got sick again yesterday. I just got over being sick for almost a month, and yesterday it kind of came back and is kicking my ass. So I apologize for the sniffling and probably a little bit low energy, but also the raspiness of my voice. But the struggles that I face, to be honest with you guys, once I made the decision that this is what I want and I wanted more for myself, it all became a lot easier. So I'm probably going backwards. How did you overcome it? I'm telling you that right now. I just decided I wanted something more than the pain it took to get there. And the struggles I faced, honestly, the toughest one for me was when you get up in the morning and you're tired, how do you get over that? And it was always a very simple idea to me to help me get over that. And that was, okay, I know I want to go to the gym to start my day, to stay in shape, to make work easier on my body because I'm stronger, I have more endurance. So I either go to the gym now when the only excuse I have is I'm tired, or I try to do it later today when I've had 10 to 12 hours to come up with numerous other excuses that I can stack on top of being tired. Because I'm going to be tired no matter what. Either this morning I'm going to be tired or I'm going to be tired after work from working a full day. But I'm also going to come up with so many other excuses for me to use why I shouldn't go to the gym. So I might as well just stick with the one excuse I need to overcome instead of a stack of them. So that became easier once I kind of had that idea ingrained in my brain. The other struggle was just people thinking I'm fucking crazy. And once I let go of worrying about other people's opinions, and that's not even true. You know what? I'm going to call myself out on not telling the truth there. You know what it was? It was actually because I was in my 20s and people's opinions did still matter to me probably more than they should. It I probably fed off of the attention it got. Once people heard that I got up at 4 or 3 o'clock in the morning to do X, Y, and Z, everyone would ask me about it, and I was getting attention for it. So I probably fed off of that. So it was probably a perceived negative, people mocking me to a certain extent. And in my mind, I applied a filter where every time they thought I was crazy, they would say whatever they did, they would give me the response that they had, and it would come through that filter, and I would hear it as, well, they respect me. They don't think I'm crazy. They think it's amazing. They wish they could do it. So I don't know if I consciously made that decision to apply that filter, but that's the way it came through to me. And what inspired and confirmed your beliefs in a morning routine? I think for me, it's just that daily, monthly, yearly um, confirmation they're that by doing it, it's helping me get to where I need to go. And I guess as so those are all the sub questions that I had on morning routine. Now, I'll mention something. I am leaning into the whole morning routine conversation within the community right now. So if you guys are interested in this topic more, come check it out. Check out the community. It's called Monetized Life. It's on the school platform. There will be a link in the show notes. You can come over, join us, say hello, get into the discussion and the conversation about this and many other topics. And I'm actually going to be doing a content um what's the word I'm looking for, series on morning routine, what they're all about, why you need them, how to develop a morning routine for yourself, because right now my morning routine is kind of falling apart. So this is going to help me rebuild it, document it, share it with you guys, and then hopefully you get something from it. So come on over, join us at the Monetized Life, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Drop It Like It's Scott, where it's going to be a little different format. It's not going to be necessarily a question from the community, although it is addressing a question that will likely come from the community at some point, and that is talking about where this idea for Drop It Like It's Scott came from, as well as the Monetized Life podcast, which we are still waiting to record the first episode, but I will talk about all that stuff in episode 5. So please come back and join us for that. And until then, have a fantastic day.